Hi, guys. Welcome to Own Your Essence, the podcast where healing meets empowerment. I'm your host, April DeMille, a psychic medium and a life coach specializing in grief, trauma, and toxic relationship recovery. This is a space for deep conversations, powerful transformations, and raw healing. Each week, we'll dive into soul centered topics like psychic mediumship, the supernatural, metaphysical wisdom, emotional grief, addiction, mental health, spiritual wellness, and self discovery. Through inspiring interviews and personal insights, this podcast is here to spread awareness, spark connection, and support your healing journey. If you're ready to set boundaries, reclaim your confidence, and step into your true power, you're in the right place. Let's own your essence together. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Own Your Essence podcast, where we get to have deep transformational conversations with some of our favorite people. I am your host, April DeMille, and for those of you seeking intuitive insight, I provide private psychic medium readings. These sessions are designed to bring clarity and direction across areas like money, career, relationships, family dynamics, spiritual evolution, and emotional well-being. If you are ready for deeper, more personalized support, I offer private one-on-one coaching for those navigating grief, trauma, and the complexities of toxic relationship recovery. You can schedule a discovery call using the links provided to ensure it is a comfortable fit. You'll find all the booking links in the show notes for every episode. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Okay, so for today, we have Stephen Edwards. He is an author and speaker who shares honest and insightful perspectives on love, relationships, and personal growth. That was a terrible pause and a terrible spot, but love, relationships, and personal growth. So let's hear from Stephen. There you are. Okay. Thank you again, Stephen, for joining us. So I was just telling the audience that you have some amazing insight for us today, and you are also the author of the Venus Flytrap.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Can you tell me?
Yeah,
Can you tell me like how you gave birth to the Venus Flytrap? How did this happen?
I love that terminology. First of all, thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, so how I gave birth to the Venus flytrap. Well, it sounds kind of strange. He gave birth to me,
Okay.
right? So it took me through, what the ancients would call the dark night of the soul.
Love that.
So it reads like I was in a toxic relationship, which you could say I was, right? On all counts from every side. But what I came to realize, I didn't get this at the time, right? At the time I was going through it. But as I look back on it, I realize, and I know you get this, and you understand this, it was a reflection of me, right? It was
Yeah.
reflecting me back to me, which
Yeah.
everything is, right? And so when you sit down and you think about it, you go, okay, it was me. What was I seeing? What did I learn? And what were the consequences, the cost, and the rewards, right?
Yeah.
So uh, I met this lady, this woman, is amazing, and I fell crazy, madly in love with her, and I still am. We don't see each other anymore, and we won't be seeing each other anymore. But it's one of those things where you say, "I'm glad I went through it, but I don't want to go through it again,"
For
right?
sure. Yep.
And
Been
and,
down
and
that road.
yeah, I'm sure, right? And
Yeah.
so, it was an untenable relationship from the beginning, and I did know that from the beginning, right? But I was just going to have as much fun as I could along the way.
For sure.
So the gift that she gave me, many gifts, and we can get into that, is that she gave me my freedom.
Yeah.
You go, well, how did that work out? Well, she was very authentic. She was her authentic self. It was like, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. I don't care, right? Which in itself is magnetic, especially when you want to live that way, right? Which most of us do, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this chick is freaking amazing, right? Not
Yeah.
only is she 5'11" on her bare feet, gorgeous, former supermodel, super hot and adventurous and fun and all those things, which are also magnetic
For
because I'm
sure.
like that too. I love to have adventures and fun and take risks. Anyway, so I was drawn to her like a magnet. And one of the things she gave me was that she was prepared to be vulnerable.
Oh, yeah. That's
You
hard
know what I
work.
mean? Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
for her, it was a little easier for certain reasons. But anyway,
Right.
she didn't care, right? And so again, that's very magnetic because I don't think you walked around and said, "Do you want to be vulnerable?" People would just generally say yes, right? They
Right.
don't want to be vulnerable, right?
Well, and
Because
some people don't even understand the depth of vulnerability. They don't even always have the perfect definition in their mind of what that means.
yeah, or understand it. Yeah, because they've lived their life not being vulnerable, putting walls around themselves to what they think is protecting them, but really imprisons them, right?
Totally.
And so I had, I always laugh when I say this. I had a traumatic childhood, and then everybody goes, "Well, didn't we all?" Yes, we all did, right? But when you're a kid, you don't know anybody else is going through a traumatic life, right?
Yeah.
You just think you're the only one. Every other
Right.
kid has got it perfect, right? And
Yeah.
you're the one suffering. But anyway,
Right.
so I go through this traumatic childhood. And as you know, when you have these experiences that you push down, why do you push them down? Well, because you don't want anybody to know, because you're embarrassed, right? You feel humiliated. You feel like you're the only one. So, uh, the only way you can really get over that is to let it out,
Right.
right? Is to talk about it, right? Is to let other people know. You know, I was in an insane asylum when I was 16, right? I got humiliated at school because of the size of clothes that I wore. I got humiliated because I was the kid in the showers that got, everybody said I got a small dick, right? And so you go
Yeah.
through school with these things that are humiliating. They sound funny, but at the time when you're going through it as a child, it's very traumatic. And
Yeah.
so what I did, and I can only speak for myself, is I didn't want anybody to know about that stuff,
Yeah.
right? Wanted to keep it inside, and so I hid it, and so it's not like, you can start dating a girl and say, "Hey, listen, I'm a little bit crazy. Is that okay?" Right? I got some mental illness, and that was seen as crazy back then, right? There was no mitigating, it was completely frowned upon by society. When you went for a job, you fill out an application, it says, "Have you ever had any mental illness?" Well, we're full well if you say yes, you're not going to get the job, right? And so
Mhm.
again, it's embarrassment, it's pushing it down. So, which is why when you read the book, it's all in there, everything, right? All the things I was humiliated for, all the things that I held secret, that I was ashamed of, that I had guilt from, comes out. And
Yeah.
so it was very freeing for me because there's nothing left to say that I haven't said.
Yeah.
There's no secrets to let out that I haven't made. I wrote it in a book, so it's not very
Well,
secret.
right. So you still have your voice. Like your voice
Yeah.
found a way out regardless.
And then because that's making that so you're being vulnerable, and then you can be your authentic self.
Hmm.
Now, just to put that into context, I'm not for a second that I got all my shit together now and I know how to do everything and I'm perfect because
We're
that's
always,
ridiculous.
yeah, we're always a work in progress.
We're always a work in progress, right?
Yeah.
But if you go too far, people go, "Well, that sounds amazing." But it is because I've been able to get closer to who I really am
Yeah.
than I ever would without her, right? Without that
Yeah.
experience. So to
Yeah.
me, she was a master teacher.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is we probably made an agreement before we ever came down here,
Absolutely.
right? To
Yep.
have this experience. And she taught me so much. So first of all, to be vulnerable. And second of all, stop trying to fix everybody, right? So, I'm in the personal development, PhD in spiritual counseling. I'm counseling people and I'm really helping people.
Yeah.
But the one person I wasn't really working on was me, right? And I needed that. So if you don't do the work, the universe is going to put you in a place where you have no choice.
Yep.
You're going to have to do it. Dark night of the soul, right?
Yeah.
And so I was put in a place. Now, it could have been worse. I could have been in a relationship with a complete monster. I mean, she's beautiful. So there's a lot of upsides to it. You don't stay in something unless there's something to be gained, right?
Right. And
Something's
nobody
gained.
hates looking at a beautiful person.
No, right? Absolutely not.
Like,
And I
oh, dang, that's horrible.
exactly. So I would be rationalizing in my head because people say, so they get to the end of the chapter and they go, "Holy shit. So you broke up with her then, right?" "Yeah, no." "What? What? You went back?" "Yes, I went back." "Why?" "Listen, she's 5'11" on her bare feet. She's freaking gorgeous. She's a
Yeah.
sex addict. I got a sex room in my house. We have an amazing life. What do you mean, did I break up with her? Are you crazy? For a little bit of craziness, I can handle it until I couldn't.
Yeah. It's fun
Until
until it's
we,
not.
there you go. Exactly.
Yeah. And obsession's wild. Like
Yeah.
obsession and those toxic cycles, they are wild.
Yeah. And beautiful. So I
That
say to
too.
people, listen, if you're in a toxic relationship, you're normal. If
Yeah.
you've never been in a toxic relationship, you need to get out more often, right? And the
You're like,
chances
go
are
have a taste
you
first.
get out there, right? Or you're probably in a toxic relationship, you don't even realize it.
Yeah, you're in denial.
Or that's what I was going to say next. You're in denial, right? It's
Yeah.
part of life. And the reason is we are the toxicity,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know? And most people, I mean, we don't grow up learning how to be in a relationship, right?
No.
We grow up learning how not to be in a relationship, right? So, I say to people, listen, you don't have a relationship problem. You have a pattern problem.
Yeah.
And you
You
learn
have a
that
you problem. Yeah.
you probably, yeah, there you go, right? Because you learn these patterns when you're a kid,
Yeah.
right? And they are patterns you learn from your parents, from your society, from your culture that are designed supposedly to protect you, but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't protect you. They trap you.
They keep you small.
Venus flytrap, right?
Yeah.
So they keep you small, is the right way of putting it, right? They
Yeah.
stop you from living up to your potential, right?
For
That
sure.
who you really are and who you are is magnificent. And so, not that you are magnificent now, but you could be more if you would embrace this and look for ways to change the patterns. It doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
a bad person, right?
No.
It just means there are patterns holding you back. It's not about the other person,
Yeah.
it's about you.
There are learned behaviors that we have to unlearn for our evolution.
I wrote that down, yeah, from your previous interview. Yeah, we have to unlearn them, and not be performing for external reactions to try and act something out to avoid abandonment.
Yeah.
So there are three. So this is good for people to know. There are three uh, beliefs that we have. Every human being is built into the consciousness, right? And this is
Okay.
this is actually from the Essene Gospels, right? Which
Okay.
were way back around in the time of. I'm not even going to get what the time was.
I've actually heard of the Essene Gospels.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
beautiful gospels that have been left out of everything. But anyway, the Essene Gospels explain that built into the consciousness are three fears. They're called the three universal fears.
Okay.
Number one, the fear of not being enough, self,
Hmm.
what do you call it? Self-worth, right? The
Hmm.
second one is the fear of abandonment.
Hmm.
And it goes into the why these are built in. Like for abandonment, there's a part of us that believes our creator left us here on earth on our own. That's deep. And then
It,
the third fear is trust.
yeah.
And people sometimes misunderstand trust. It's not trusting another person. Because if you do that, you're gonna, look what's happening now. People say, you can't trust anything you hear. No, it's supposed to be that way. You have an
Hmm.
internal communication system
Hmm.
designed to talk to and communicate with the higher power. Who is ever going to know you more than that force that is through everything, that everything is and was and will be?
Yeah.
But people tend to look for external, right? If they're on Facebook looking for some answers, right? Good luck with that, right? You're never going to find any. It's all madness. And so what this is doing right now is forcing us to go inward.
Yeah. And
And
you talk about, you actually just spoke about how we have this, our intuitive side, which is our body's warning system, right? Like our alert system, right? We all have this innate ability to have this communication from our inner world. And what's fascinating is what, in my experience, when we feel betrayed by another human, we've actually betrayed ourselves in that moment, not the other way around.
that's right. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
right.
which is interesting you bring up intuition because I have so many people say, well, I don't have intuition. And I go, yes, you do.
They might
You
not
know,
have sharpened intuition, but they've got it.
well, here's the thing, is like it's like anything. It's like if I was to give you a violin and you never played a violin before, you're probably not
Yep.
going to be that great.
Right.
People will tell you, well, oh my God, you're so amazing. And then
Right.
you almost say, God, that sucked. But anyway, you get this violin, but if you practice,
Yeah.
it's going to become amazing, right?
Right.
And so it is with intuition. It's like the chords on a violin or a guitar, right? As you play it more and more, you become more and more familiar with it. You become better and better at it, and you can feel it.
Yeah, it's disciplined work just like anything else.
But most people deny it, even when they do feel it, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
like in the book, at the very beginning, I tell people, everybody tells you who they are within the first 2 minutes of you meeting them, right? It's
Hmm.
there if you're prepared to look, right? So when I met Tamaz, we met online. Bad start, right? Anyway, we met online, and I convinced her to go on a date with me, but I actually convinced her to go for a coffee. I know, pretty weak, right? Anyway, she even canceled that, right? So anyway, I managed to persuade her to go on a dinner date with me, right? So now I'm thinking, I got to tie this down because she's going to probably cancel again. I can't let that happen, right? So I'm texting her, and I'm thinking, I'll buy some flowers, right? So I say, what's your favorite flower? And she says, bird of paradise.
Okay.
I'm joking around. I joke around all the time. You probably tell. And I go, nah, mine too, which actually it is, right? I go, nah, mine too. But then I said, it's a bit expensive though. So what's your second favorite? As a
Yeah.
joke, right?
Yeah.
I kid you not, April. She came back within seconds, Venus Flytrap.
Yeah.
And I knew. My intuition went boom.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Right.
So underneath this beautiful flower, the bird of paradise, is
Hmm.
this danger, this flower that will want to devour you.
Yeah.
So I knew that in the moment, it's like she's the Venus flytrap and I'm the fly, which pans out perfectly for the story. But the point is, my intuition told me. Now, your intuition is just telling you something. You
Yeah.
don't have to take any notice of it, right? It's just telling you, it's warning you, right? It's letting you know it's
Yeah.
going to be dangerous. And sometimes we're attracted to danger.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
and
attracted to
sometimes our humans need it.
Yes, we do, right? It's a
Yeah.
variety of life, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, I then on the date, there's probably three or four we call red flags, right? That I completely ignored. And then it just goes on and on and on. But again, I made the conscious decision, I'm in it and I'm getting a lot out of it right now. And when I'm not, I'll get out of it.
Right.
Which when you read the book, it sounds really crazy.
So
But
you knew going into it that it wasn't sustainable, but you
yeah,
were like, but hey, this fucking roller coaster's fun.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So and the other thing, the other habit I have, which you could say is a bad habit, I don't know, but I have a habit of building things up, being very good at it, and then just crashing it.
Okay.
And the example I use, and when I first saw this, it blew my mind. I go to see the Buddhist monks, right? And they make this beautiful, it takes about a week. They make this beautiful sand mandala, right?
Okay.
It's incredible. And you're thinking, man, I put that in my house, right? I could sell it for probably $1 million. I don't know, but it's beautiful. And then at the end of the week, when they made it, they take it to the river and they throw it in.
Wow.
Just
Okay.
throw it away because nothing is permanent
Right.
and you can't become attached,
Yeah.
right, to anything. So
Yeah.
it's a symbol of that. Don't become attached to the material world.
Hmm.
Uh, Even when you're creating, it's going to come and it's going to go.
Yeah. Appreciate the beauty in the temporary moments.
That's right. Yeah, beautiful. So I had this habit of doing that all the time.
Yeah.
So I would,
Which makes sense because it's indicative of like sabotage, right? Is indicative of low self-worth anyway. So it makes sense. It ties in.
yeah, it's definitely an indicative of, it can be an indicative of mental illness. Yeah, so I would do this, right? And people say, well, you had everything. And I go, yeah, but I didn't want it anymore, right? I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
want that anymore. And so because I spent my entire life running away, April, when I was
Yeah.
a kid, and I told you about this traumatic childhood, I just wanted to run away from home.
Yeah.
But I never realized that it wasn't a physical home I was running away from. It was me. I'm my home.
Yeah.
And so I traveled all over the world running away, right? And every city, oh, I can't wait to get to this other city. I loved it. Yeah, no, and I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. It's like wherever you go, there you are, right?
Right. Yeah. Can't
So,
escape it.
but the beauty of it and the gift in that is that I was never stuck in an identity. I've seen people who live in the same place all their life, and it's very difficult for them to be anybody else. It's very difficult for them to shed the identity because people always put them in that box.
Yeah.
But as I went from place to place, I could reinvent myself. Nobody knew who I was before.
Yeah.
So I could shed that skin and then become more of who I really am and then continue that. So like everything has a silver lining, right?
Yeah.
I adopted a belief some time ago which sounds really simple, and it is, but it's not quite as simple to live it. And that is not, and you know this, right? You're gonna be like, yeah, I know that. Nothing happens to you, everything happens for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which sounds simple, but actually living it is not that easy,
It's
right?
not when you're in the middle of this shitstorm.
That's
It's
right. You
not
know what I mean?
quite, yeah, it's harder to have a perspective like that when you're being pummeled.
So let me give you an example for me, right?
Yeah,
So this is a very tumultuous relationship, like our lives, right? So
yeah.
by the way, we'd both been in a mental institution when we're teenagers. She had too,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So she was dealing with tremendous trauma from her life, as I was, and it ran through her life. Anyway, so
Just the parallels and the mirror work there are fabulous.
unbelievable, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So so beautiful, right? So so it was tumultuous. And, we had amazing times. We love bombed each other, and then we argued like hell. So we broke up many times.
Okay.
So we're in one of those breakup moments, right? And she'd gone on a binge somewhere. She stole my car around a binge somewhere, and I
Okay.
travel. That's nothing you get in the story. It's crazy. But anyway, so she was gone, and I traveled 4 days a week, so I had to go on my trip. And she knew when I was leaving, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew I was going to be gone for 4 days. So she comes back to the house, and I had to lock up the house and put the alarm on, right? Because I'm going away. So she comes back to the house and she'd left some windows open to get back in, right? Smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I inadvertently had locked the windows. Right? She had no way to get in. So she breaks in, sets off all the alarms, right? So now the police come out there like hot, right?
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that have happened in the neighborhood. I don't know. I think there was like 8 or 10 squad cars, some SUVs. They came in with the
Oh
police,
no.
and they're all running through the neighborhood. It's insane, right? So then the police call me, right? And they say, look, she's here outside the house. She's got your car and she wants to come in. And now, this, just to be clear, this was not the first time the police had been to the house by any stretch of the imagination. It was
Okay.
a zoo, right? In fact,
Yeah.
we probably knew most of the sheriff's department by now, right? And they
Okay.
knew it. So they go, look, we keep coming out here. You guys are crazy. But we know she's living here, right? What are we going to do? And I said, whatever you do, do not let her in that house because I knew it wouldn't be good if she got in there because she's mad with me, right?
Yeah.
I said, don't let her in. He said, well, listen, I'll call you back. I'm going to have to call the chief. So he calls me back. He said, spoke to the chief. He said, look, she obviously lives there. We got to let her in. I'm
Yeah.
like, my God, right?
Yeah. Because
So
she's
that,
got like she legally she's established residency there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I get home on Monday and I'm like, oh my God, what's she going to have done, right? So I
Oh.
get to the house and I go inside and everything looks great. Everything looks fine. I'm thinking, maybe she's turned over a new leaf. I don't know. So I go in the kitchen and I put on the kettle, right? And I walk out, come back in, water hasn't boiled. So I go look at the kettle and I look behind the kettle. She snipped the cable to the
Oh.
kettle, right? So it looked fine, but it wasn't until you realized and looked behind it that she'd snipped the cord, right?
Yeah.
Now I know her, right? So I know that is not the end of it. I already know, right? So she's cut the cord to every electrical appliance in the entire house,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And guess what? I know that's not the end of it either, right? I
Yeah.
know that.
That's just the beginning. We're just getting started.
So when I was a kid, and I mentioned this earlier, when I was a kid, my mother sent me to school in school clothes that were like 10 sizes too big. The overcoat that I wore to go to school would probably still fit me today, right? It was a parka overcoat dragged on the floor. I had to roll up the sleeves so I could see my hands. So anyway, bottom line is I got humiliated. The kids would laugh at me and so and so. So clothes became very important to me at a very young age.
Oh no.
Yeah, right, you followed this one already, right?
Oh
By the
no.
time I was
Yeah.
9, I was buying my own clothes for school, right?
Yeah.
So fashion and clothes, I always wanted to look immaculate, right? And I go, please God, no. Right. So this time, at this particular point in my life, I'm making a lot of money. So I had a wardrobe to die for, right? So I go to the closet and I'm going, please. Right? So I look around. Everything looks fine again, right? So I pull the clothes back. She has cut everything, right? Everything, right?
Yeah.
And the shoes, April, and the shoes.
Wow. She didn't skip a beat.
She didn't skip a beat. So now, I can't tell you that at that moment I went, well, this has obviously happened for me, right? No, I got angry. I got pissed off. I got frustrated.
Yeah.
and I did. It just didn't wear off right away either, right? But she was gone, thank God. So I could express the anger, which is, if you express any emotion to the fulcrum, you will eventually come back to peace, right? Now, it wasn't an hour, it was like, 24, maybe longer. But finally, I'm exhausted and I just sit down in the armchair and I go, okay, all right. So this happened for me, huh? Okay. Explain that to me. I'm talking, to the universe, to God, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be good. Let me hear it.
Yeah.
So I sit with it a little bit and I'm trying to figure it out. And I go, let's just close, right? It's just close, right?
Yeah.
Like that. But that's pretty weak, right? So then I go, yeah, but they were really fucking nice clothes, right?
Right. But like they cost me a lot of money and I liked
Yeah,
them.
yeah, right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yes, people go,
It was
that
still
doesn't.
mine and I wanted them.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually it came to me, attachment.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
was attached to them. Now, that's pretty simple in itself, but what does that mean? It means they become part of my identity,
Hmm.
that who I am. And that's not true, right? That isn't true, but it doesn't matter whether it's true. It's what you believe, right? It's what you believe about them. So I realized
Well, and it also doesn't dilute the impact of the suffering in the moment.
exactly, right? Yeah, absolutely. But here's what happened then. That's just the tip of the iceberg,
Yeah, I bet.
right? So
Yeah.
what else am I attached to?
Yeah.
House, the cars, all kinds of things, right? So
Hmm.
she gave me that gift to see that.
Hmm.
And that because of my attachment to stuff, things, whatever it is, I didn't have any freedom.
Yeah.
Because to get those things, you got to work your ass off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you
It
do.
takes time.
Yeah.
That's a huge cost. You can never get that back. And the problem with things, stuff, is it never ends. Well, then you need a bigger house or a bigger car, or you need the next thing that you need to have to maintain that image, right? And then it takes time and energy to maintain it all.
Yeah.
And so what I realized is that saying is true. Less is more.
Yeah. I love
The
that
less
saying.
possessions you have, because possessions what? Possess you.
Yeah.
They possess a part of you. There's energy given up for that. So I gave it all up because of what she taught me, right? Inadvertently, or
Yeah.
maybe overtly, right? From coming down
Yeah.
here in that experience, right? So I have nothing but love and appreciation and gratitude to her. And the other thing I'm grateful for her to do that, is that, one of the things that I had a pattern of wanting to rescue, save, and fix everybody,
Yeah.
right? I grew up with the idea that, you rescued the damsel in distress, you saved her, and then you fixed her. Because if you fix her, she's going to love you for fixing her, which is complete bullshit, right? But you don't know that until you know it.
Yeah.
So she helped me realize, this is powerful too, is that not everybody wants to be fixed, and not everybody is supposed to be fixed,
Right.
right?
And also, not everybody has the same frequency to where you're the one with the codes for them to adjust.
That's right. Well, there are no codes for her to adjust, right? She's
Right.
never going to be fixed. And people say, well, that's a little chauvinistic. How do you know? Because I know.
You
Because
know, you know, I think there are certain people that you come across in life, like there's definitely been a handful that I know will not evolve in this reality. That's just where they're at.
they're not supposed to, right? They're
Right.
not supposed to. And they
Right.
continue to teach these lessons to
They were
people.
catalysts for me to evolve for sure.
There you go.
And that was
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely. And she's that, which if you think about it, because as you know, in our spiritual essence, we're all fully enlightened, right? There's
Hmm.
nobody better than anybody else. Nobody, we're
Right.
all we're all in that fully enlightened state.
Right.
So she has chosen to lower her vibration to such a degree that
Hmm.
she'll never be fixed. And that's a huge
That's
sacrifice.
the agreement she made, and it is a
You
big sacrifice.
see what I mean?
It's a
Yeah.
huge
So
sacrifice. I've actually spoken about that, how much love there has to be for a soul to take on a role like that.
yeah. Have you ever read the book, The Little Soul in the Sun?
Mm-mm.
You
No, I'm
you
going
would
to
love
write that
it's a,
down.
yeah, it's by Neil Donald Walsh, right?
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, right. Well, he wrote this story actually is part of, I think, the first book, but he wrote it as a separate book for children. But I say every adult should read that book. It's so beautiful.
You said The Little Soul in the Sun?
The little, like the Lil, like little
Okay.
soul and the sun. It's beautiful, right?
Okay.
It's just such a beautiful poetic way to explain what you and I just talked about, right?
Okay.
That when we come here, we make an agreement, and other souls make an agreement to be part of our soul group, right? And
Hmm.
do specific things to give us the opportunity to experience what we want to experience.
Totally.
So I know that she's part of that. And like I said, I've got nothing but gratitude. But she's been back to see if I'm healed, right? And I knew she would come back, right? I knew she would come back
Well,
because
and I
I'm,
feel like most toxic connections do.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm writing the freaking book. I mean, what am I thinking about the whole time I'm writing the book? I'm going back through the whole thing. My energy is going to draw her in, and I knew it. And she's
Hmm.
got amazingly sensitive energy and strong intuition. So
Yeah.
I knew she was coming back, right?
Yeah.
And it was going to be a test for me,
Hmm.
because people would say to me, "Well, that's pretty amazing, man. Are you done? Are you over it?" And I'd say, "I have no idea." What do you mean you got no idea? Well, I will never know until I'm put in that situation, right? And then how I
Yeah.
handle, how I deal with that. There's no way
Like
to
you
know.
can speculate all day long, but you don't really know
Absolutely.
until it's in your face.
And you know how many people will will get out of a toxic relationship and then say, "That's it. I'm never doing it again. But I'm going to take a break, right? I'm not going to date for 6 months, whatever it is." And then they go back out dating and they meet the same person in a different body, right?
Yep.
Because they
Yep.
really haven't done any work on it, right? So
Same
I was kind
person,
of like,
different name.
there you go.
Yeah.
And so what I was happy about is that I didn't. I didn't go back in. I could have, and I didn't. Not that that's anything against her, but I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That person died,
Yeah.
and I had to grieve that person
Yeah.
in order for me to become more of who I am, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not interested in that anymore. I don't need that anymore. There's no point for that kind of relationship anymore, which is a good feeling for me. It's like, okay, good. I'm happy about that. That's good.
You graduated.
I graduated
Yay.
first grade. First grade. I can now go to second grade, right? Yeah. So I graduated on one level. Woohoo! Anyway, but it was a little bit of a woohoo for me, right? So I
Yeah.
haven't dated in 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been on a date. I haven't looked for a date because I needed that time alone to reflect. And I wrote the book. I actually wrote 3 books. This is the first book of 3 in the trilogy.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Well,
I
thank
hope
you
you're
so much.
celebrating yourself. That's a big feat.
It is. It is a big feat. And I didn't always tell myself, but when I wrote this book, it's a story. It's actually happened in my life. So,
Hmm.
people say, well, you're an author. I said, well, not really, right? I just wrote a story, something that happened in my life. I don't think I could ever write a book that's fictional. How do people come up with these characters and flesh them out? And then, you see a movie and you go, holy shit, that's not a real person. That's made up. How do you make that stuff up? Well,
Yeah.
here's
The
what you do.
gift of imagination, right?
Yeah, well, I have a great imagination, right? I've imagined so many things and manifested them all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I was in a meditation and I didn't have the intention to come up with this idea. I just came up with an amazing idea for a book,
Yeah.
right? Amazing character who's the theme of the book, and then characters around them, and then stories around her started to come up, and they're amazing stories, right? It's crazy. So I'm now writing another book that is fictional. It is based on a fictional character. It's kind of cool, right? It's kind of I had to start out with me telling my story
Yeah.
to give myself the belief that I could, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I always could do that, but I just never realized it. I never
Right.
believed in myself enough, self-esteem, right? I mean, being with her was also about my self-esteem, right? Wasn't it? Of course it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
You know, didn't think I was worthy, didn't think I'd ever be able to do that, to attract a woman like that in my life. So yeah, I had a little bit of work. I still have a little bit of work to do, but I got
Yeah,
there.
but I think it's admirable that you've taken 4 years and however long necessary, right?
Mhm.
To you know, uh, I guess let the other sparks of creativity kind of come to the forefront,
Yeah.
with your books and stuff, but also you're taking a sacred pause to really dive in and figure out what this new version of you is supposed to look like. Like, where are you going with this, you know?
What's interesting to me is, and I've said this so many times, people say, "How would you get into that?" And I would say, "I don't think I had any choice. It's just
Yeah.
how it unfolded, right?" And so, I feel that about this relationship that I had with Tomas, right? I didn't have, that's not a real name, obviously, but it's just, I felt like I didn't have any choice. I was in it. And by the time I was in it,
Mhm.
the circumstances were so encapsulating
Yeah.
that I couldn't get out of it, right? I mean, I could have got out of it. I could have could have just taken an aeroplane to Egypt and just never come back. But
Yeah,
my
but
point, outside of reasonable, right? And so
yeah.
with this situation happening with, I forgot what I was going to say. What were we just talking about before that?
So we were talking about, the taking the time to
Oh yeah, yeah,
really,
yeah, yeah. So perfect. Thank you. So what happened was, I went through another relationship and I went, I don't want to be in a relationship. I just do not want to be in a relationship. I do not want to live with somebody. I just want to have my space.
yeah,
I recognize I need to heal. And so, but I felt like I was pushed into that and I really didn't have any choice.
yeah,
I probably did, but that's how it felt to me, right? And so, and I knew that if I'd got back in another relationship, I would have never written this book
yeah. Which
because
was
it,
again your intuition saying, hey, you have something else that we need you to do.
yeah. And here's the thing, I mean, rationalizing that, right? So can you imagine you're in a relationship with a woman and you're writing about, being in a relationship with a beautiful woman with a sex room and all the eroticism that goes in that. I mean, who's going to freaking stay with you? She's going to be like, what are you? And then you're going to write a book about it? No way, right?
Yeah,
So I realized that from that perspective, because I did want to write the book and I did want to have some time on my own, that it was time. And it was time for me to realize that I've been running away, like we said, for so long. I mean, for an example, as a teacher, spiritual teacher, personal development, what do we tell people? You got to write a journal.
yeah,
And I did. I wrote a journal religiously. But
yeah,
you know what I never did? I never read any of them. So I got all these journals because I was just running away. I never wanted to look back. How
hmm
crazy is that, right? So when I actually, now, by the way, just to also be clear, at the beginning of the book, you read that I was just going through my fourth divorce, right?
okay.
I'm going for the record. I'm not sure what it is, but anyway. So I'm going through my fourth divorce. I don't know if you've been through it, but it's traumatic, right? It is. I mean, nobody gets married because they want to get divorced, right? And so what it did was I was burned out on what I've been doing.
hmm
And this is when some of the greatest learnings are going to happen when you're done, right? I was done with that life. I was done with doing what I was doing. I was done with just taking care of everybody else, but not taking care of me. I was exhausted, right?
Yeah,
I burned out, right? And
yeah,
I'm going through a divorce.
yeah,
But that's when you're at your weakest, when you can learn the most because your walls are not up anymore. You're not
yeah.
so strong. You're not so resistant and,
hmm
and afraid because I'm, I'm too tired, right? And that's when I drew her in.
Yeah.
When I was ready to let go of who I was,
hmm That's when your
give her,
greatest teacher comes.
there you go. And she was she was a master teacher for me, for sure.
Yeah. You know what I love about your story is I've had similar situations happen, but I would say the very last experience I'd had before I went on this like 11 years of single life, right? I had met someone and let that man torture me for about 4 years. And he was, out of all the people I've met in my life, and I've met a lot of toxic people and a lot of, mentally unstable people, like there's variations everywhere, right?
Good for you.
But I became a toxic relationship recovery advisor because of this man.
Yeah, me
And he,
too. I did
right?
that because of this,
Yeah,
right? That
right.
wasn't my
So
plan,
I
by the way.
became the professional because of my lack of knowledge, right? And
Yeah.
so he definitely came in with a mission to shake me awake.
Mhm.
And I had made a decision, I had to sit with that because I'd been tortured by him for so long. And he was truly the only narcissist I've ever met. Like you meet people that have co-narcissism or narcissistic tactics or whatever, and it's overused, but this was a true through and through narcissist man. And that fucked my world up. And I sat and had a powwow with myself. And I remember thinking, the common denominator in all these stories is me, right? So,
Mhm.
what am I doing that is attracting all the same individuals? So, I had to really sit down and be vulnerable and honest with myself. And when I saw that I was the common denominator and I was the one attracting the same story over and over, I had
Yeah.
made the decision to go on a celibacy streak. And I did. I had married the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And I said, "Hey, I'm going to do this, nun style or monk style. I'm going to restrain from any relations with myself or anyone else. Like I was cutting it off. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, if this is what it takes for me to get to the root of the problem, then here we go. And so I stayed on that celibacy path for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 6 years before I finally decided, okay, I think I've learned what I can here and figured out this new version of myself. And took me 6 years to get there.
Yeah. Wow. I got two more to go then, huh?
No, I wouldn't
I'm just
say
kidding. I'm just kidding.
I hope not. Like I think that and I actually had a conversation about this. The only reason why I came out of it was because I was scared to come out of it. It's kind of like if you've ever been in rehab for addiction or anything else, like, or you come out of jail maybe, and it's like, oh God, once I have that freedom, how am I going to act? Am I going to do stupid shit again? So that's kind of where I was. I was like, oh, I have this new version of myself. Am I going to have the same discipline when I have that freedom back? Right. And so I was afraid to come out of that celibacy streak, but I also knew I needed to. And I started having health issues because of it. So
Yeah.
that's when it became counterproductive because now I'm
Right.
having all kinds of other health issues. And it took that to force me out of it so I could practice what I preach. So,
Well, what's funny is, you just said this in a different way. You said the same thing I say, because people would say, you've been 4 freaking marriages, man.
Mhm.
What's the problem? I mean, what is wrong with all these women? And I would say, well, it's actually a simple mathematical equation.
Yeah,
4 marriages, one constant, me. So
right.
it's me, right? So I agree, right? We create it. We create it, right?
Yeah.
Based on our own self. So uh, that was a big breakthrough, of course, too, right?
Yeah, because our own wounds are what we're
Yeah.
attracting.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, Stephanie here. For those of you seeking intuitive insight, April provides private psychic medium readings. These sessions are designed to bring clarity and direction across areas like money, career, relationships, family dynamics, spiritual evolution, and emotional well being. If you're ready for deeper, more personalized support, April offers private one on one coaching for those navigating grief, trauma, and the complexities of toxic relationship recovery. You can schedule a discovery call using the links below to ensure it's a comfortable fit. You'll find all booking links in the show notes. As always, thanks for tuning in.
And so what I learned about myself, because I was never really looking at myself. So in fact, when I would go through a divorce, part of me would blame the other person, and part of me would be like, I just suck at this, right? I'm just not
Yeah.
good at it, right?
You're like, I'm
So,
just not for relationships, I guess. I'm one of the
well, not
few that
necessarily
just aren't that.
relationships, but I'm just marriage is not for me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So what I tell people now, they said, you think you get married again? I said, well, for sure, no, because I'm unmarriageable, right? So
So
what
you
I
had
said,
that belief. Yeah.
I know I'm unmarriageable. So here's why. I had to really go deep because to just say that doesn't mean anything, right?
Right.
So here's my you want to say my personality, my energy, whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm going to say this and you go, well, you can fix that if you want. I know I don't fucking want it, right? I'm happy as it
You're
is.
like, I'm content with being here. Thanks.
I'm content being single. I
Yeah.
don't want to live with anybody ever again, right? I
Yeah.
like enjoy my time on my own,
Yeah.
right?
And you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, and I got my freedom. I can do whatever I want. I go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, at 7 o'clock at night, whatever I want, right? And I'm not interfering with somebody else. So here's my experience of marriage, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying it's anybody else's. But what I seemed to notice was this pattern. You know, you go through the honeymoon stage, everything is amazing. You've met this perfect person, and they think you're perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe, anyway. So then what happens is all that wears off, and then you start taking each other for granted. It's like
Hmm.
sometimes you don't even see each other. I mean, literally, you're going around the same house and you don't even see each other. You don't even notice, right? And you don't notice them. So for me, and I would say this in the relationship, you know, because they would say, you know, the person would say, well, that's not going to last forever. You know, I go, why? Why? Why can't it last forever? It's up to us, right? We can make that choice, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't. It didn't. And they were right. So here's my take on it. I'm not in a relationship, not looking to be in a relationship. If I do get in a relationship, be all just simply organic. But I don't feel like I want to be in a relationship right now. So I probably won't be, which is fine. Maybe one day I will. I don't know. But when I do get in a relationship, it will be with different boundaries,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
So, and I will let them know those boundaries. I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to live with you. And that will save our relationship so that we'll see each other maybe once, twice a week. Maybe we won't. But when
Hmm.
we do get together, we're going to have a ton to talk about. We can go on adventures together. We can have fun together without having to deal with the mundane.
Hmm.
We're going to deal with it on our own because you have a mundane life. You have things that you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis to take care of the house and everything else. But those are my boundaries, right? Doesn't make them
Hmm.
right or wrong. They're not for everybody, but they're right
It's
for
just where
me.
you're at right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
yeah.
It's like you said, it's a process and we're all works in progress. So,
But why it's important for me, and I think that's important for anybody, but why it's important for me is because in relationships, I tended to give myself away.
hmm.
I,
And
I
that's
tended,
true if you don't have strong boundaries and you don't have like the rock solid relationship with yourself. It's true.
yeah. So I would also lose myself in relationships. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do the things that were important to me, right?
Hmm.
Like I would never have written a book being in a marriage or relationship because I would have been
Hmm.
giving my time to that person
Hmm.
instead of learning how to set boundaries and spend time doing things that I want to do. And so with these new rules, as they call them, new rules, right? These new boundaries, I'm not never going to let that happen again. I'm going to do what I'm here to do, that I believe I'm here to do. Whether that's true or not, who will ever know, right? I could get to
Hmm.
heaven and God might say, you asshole, you weren't supposed to do that. I don't know, but it's what I believe in my heart.
Well, and I think that the universe is very smart. It's an
I,
intelligent universe.
I think
And
so.
the universe is still going to deliver mirrors wherever you're needed to grow, regardless. So you can say, this is what works for me right now. And that is what works for you right now.
Yeah.
But when the universe thinks you're ready to shift, you're going to.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. And it's happened so many times. And I'll be ready when it happens. I'll be excited.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
absolutely.
always excited when I'm going to a new city. It's a new
Yeah.
adventure. I take on things that people go, dude, that's really risky.
Yeah.
You're going to jump out of a freaking plane with with a blanket. Oh, what are you thinking? I go, no, it's great, man. You know, you're taking a leap of faith.
For sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
listen, man, I can take a leap of faith going to the store. I don't need to jump out of an airplane, right? And I go, well, that's for
For real.
you,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So I love doing those things because it renews my faith. So I'm always, when I'm going to make a major change in my life, I'll do something. I'll go parasailing, I'll go skydiving, I'll go bungee jumping, whatever it is, because it's freaking scary. I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, I am too. For
So you know
real.
what I mean? So when you jump off that platform, you're heading towards the earth really fast, right? And
Hmm.
you don't know if that code's going to pull you back up or not. You just like faith, right? If it's
Yeah.
not, if it doesn't, that's how it was meant to go, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it does take courage. You know, courage is not the absence of fear, it's when you do it anyway, right?
Hmm.
So, and I've had enough experience in my life where I take risks. Now, they don't always work out, right? They
Hmm.
don't always go how I might have hoped it would. But however it goes, the learning and the lessons are just amazing. And
Yeah.
I've hit rock bottom so many times, and I've always found my way back up.
Yeah.
Not immediately, right? With the bungee jump, it's pretty immediate, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes when I've done stuff, it's had long-term repercussions, right?
Hmm.
But I know now I'll always get through it. I'll always be okay, you know?
Hmm.
And that gives me the belief that nobody's broken. Nobody is broken, right? You're going through some difficult times. It might feel like you're broken, but people say they're broken and go, oh, really? Show me where.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they broke their arm, they can show me where. But I mean, in terms of your spirit's never broken, right? You're just
Mm-hmm.
experiencing some things that are tough for you to go through.
But
And
also meant to build you.
meant to build you, right? It's
Yeah.
resilience. You don't
Mm-hmm.
come in this life with resilience. You
Mm-hmm.
learn resilience by the challenges that you get through. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? So
Yeah.
anyway,
Wow. That's powerful stuff. So do you have any new upcoming projects that you can share with us or that you're willing to share? Let me just
yeah,
say
no,
that. No.
no.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just kidding, man. So
You're
book two,
good.
book two is coming out soon. Book three is nearly finished. I'm going to write about my early life, right? So
Okay.
there's going to be a series of books called Before the Venus Flytrap.
Oh, I love that.
Then there's going to be a series after the Venus Flytrap.
Okay.
Then I'm writing this book that I've told you, this fictional book, which is about a female character called Aurelia.
Okay.
And then we're going to work on, now this isn't necessarily in sequence, we're going to work on getting the book into a movie and into a series.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's going to be powerful. And then there's all kinds of ancillary things that will go from there too.
Okay. Well, is there any last words of advice that you would like to leave the audience before we hop off of here?
I was going to say no again, but I've already used that
You're
word.
like, I've already tried that.
I already tried that. Doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So, there's so many things you could say, right? But one thing I would say that changed my life profoundly, that's so simple, you could just start using it every day, but really integrate into your life. Because if you do this, you'll never, ever be a victim.
Okay.
And that is that nothing happens to you,
Mm-hmm.
everything happens for you.
Agreed.
Without exception. Now, there are people that will argue that with me up and down. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you could think in your life, you could think about women that are, or even men that are abused, right? Or, have gone through terrible trauma. That if you said that, they'd probably kill you, right? Because they'd be so
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, there's no way I drew that into my life. Yes, you did, right? But I wouldn't say that on a first session
Yeah.
with a client. But we
Yeah.
would get there. We would get there. And the reason we would get there is number of reasons. One, like you have had 30, I don't know if you've had this long, right? I wasn't going to say, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've worked with Tony Robbins. I've worked with some of the luminaries in this arena. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been very blessed to learn some of these things, which is why it's funny that I went through what I went through. But the reason I went through what I went through is not to be able to say I got my shit together. It's that I lived it. You just said the same thing. You
Yep.
lived it. You went through this man that was terrible person, put you through incredible trauma, but now you can speak from that, from your experience. So
Mm-hmm.
when you say, listen, I get where you are, I understand how it feels, and all I can do is tell you the consequences, and then you can play it out yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went through this experience, forgetting who I was, but I was also, prior to this happening, given all these amazing tools
Mm-hmm.
that helped me recover, right?
Well, and I
That
think the point is you're supposed to forget who you are.
Of course, that's what we
That's
come
how
into, right?
you become. Yeah.
That's how you become. So not for the first time. But then I
Yeah.
had the tools, right?
Yeah.
I was given the tools so I could get myself through it, heal myself, and come back and share it. So I already had a lot of skills, but I was, for whatever reason, my soul said, I'm done with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's on to the next thing. And this is the next thing, right? For me, is to continue to help myself, but also help others just like you, right? That
Mm-hmm.
are in these relationships, experiencing toxic relationships. And you said this at the beginning, which is so true. Not everybody is right for everybody to be the person that can help them through that. We all have a
Yeah,
vibration, right? And so
absolutely.
that person's vibration is going to be attracted to the right um,
Tribe.
counselor,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you would work with some, I would work with some other people that would be, and that's what's perfect. There's plenty for everybody, right? We
Right.
live in an abundant universe, and it's people that try and, you know, to grab onto it all are the ones that let it slip through all of it slip through their fingers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I know that's what I'm here to do for now, right?
Mhm.
write these books. I've got all these books in mind, and I'm passionate again, right?
Yeah,
So having gone through all this, to go through it all, I had to lose what I was passionate for before,
right.
to get down to rock bottom, to have an experience that compounded that, that would
Yeah.
allow me to share that experience with others in the hope that, because part of the time I was going through this, April, you feel alone
Hmm.
because you can't tell anybody because they're not going to understand, right? And they're going to judge you. And they did.
Totally.
They
Yeah,
did, right?
absolutely.
So I also want to help
They'll shame
people.
you for it.
They'll shame you for it, right? And you've
Hmm.
already gone through enough shame. You don't need any more.
Well, and it's sad because you get a lot of the victim shaming, right? Like
Yeah.
that's where they're like, oh, you're the reason why you're being abused. But that's not entirely true. That's not how abuse works.
No, I mean, maybe partially, right? Because I mean, you could say it was all for me, but then they could say, well,
Hmm.
yeah, but that's her stuff. That's nothing to do with me, right?
Hmm.
And once you start making what other people are going through your responsibility, you're screwed. It's nothing to do with you. You have brought that person into your life as they have brought you into their life as a gift, as a tool.
Hmm.
So one of the things I want is, and we're going to do, is create a community where people can share
Oh, I
their
love
shadow
this.
self. What's that?
I love this, that what you're talking about, the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the community. So they can share this stuff without any guilt, without any shame, with other people who have thought they were alone too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're
I
not
love that.
alone. And there's nothing to judge yourself for. You didn't do anything wrong. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with you. You experienced this particular episode in your life so you could learn, remember with yourself, reconnect with
Hmm.
yourself. And
Yeah.
so you've learned some things, powerful things that can help you be who you really are.
Yeah. I love that. And I would love to get behind that community, by the way.
Wonderful. Well, let's do it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Okay. I love that. So you also have an offer that we're going to have in the show notes. Did you want to talk about that?
sure. Yeah. So, I would love people to get the book, but you don't have to buy the book. You're not going to buy the book based on a conversation, right? So, what I've done is I've created a link for your listeners to be able to get the first three chapters of the book for free. So just
Okay.
read it. Just
Yeah.
read it. If it connects with
Give
you,
it a
if it
feel. Give it a feel.
yeah,
See if you like
exactly.
it. Yeah.
If you like it, you can get the book if you want. And then if you feel like you want to go deeper, and I do say this, and I think you probably do the same. I don't play at this, right? This is for real. So if you're
Right.
serious about really going through a process, and you have to prove that to me because I don't want to waste my time
Yeah.
any more than I want to waste anybody else's time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then people say, well, I'm paying you. And that doesn't mean anything. You pay to go to the gym, but you never show up, right?
Yeah.
So you got to prove to me, convince me that I'm going to be investing my time and you're going to be investing your time well and wisely. But if you
Hmm.
think that might be a possibility for you, there is a way for you to click another link that can get you 30 minutes with me. We can chat. And, as you and I were saying earlier, we may resonate, we may not. And let's see if we do and if
Oh,
we want to take it from there.
okay. So you have like the link for the like a discovery call.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Discovery call. Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
use that. I'm
Yeah.
going to steal that for you.
Yeah. I mean, I stole it from somebody else too. So that's how it works.
That's how it works.
That's
Yes.
how it works. Like
Yeah.
sharing is caring.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. I love that too. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. This has been an amazing conversation. I want to make sure that there's nothing else that you need to add before we hop off of here. You good?
Well, we could talk for days, right? You and
Probably.
I, right? But this is a beginning, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in the future.
Yeah.
And if you're serious and you want to get involved in this, let's put our heads together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. I love that idea. Okay, well, thank you so much again for being here. You guys, if any of these topics resonated with you on a soul level, I'm sure you can reach out to work with Stephen Edwards. The links will be in the show notes. And I also work with people one-on-one, and my booking links are in the show notes as well. So thanks again for tuning in. And we'll say goodbye here. Bye, you guys. Thank you for joining Own Your Essence. I am beyond grateful to our guests for sharing their wisdom and to you, our listeners, for being part of this journey toward healing and empowerment. If today's conversation resonated with you, please feel free to subscribe, leave a review, and share this space with others who might need it. If you have questions, topic ideas, want to be a guest, or would like to work with me privately, send an email. I'd love to hear from you.